The idea of creating a budget can be daunting. You might think it's going to be a limiting exercise that ultimately results in pinching pennies and eliminating stops at your favorite coffee shop. But the truth is, a budget is a foundational piece of your financial plan that can give you the confidence to act on some pretty big and life-changing decisions. Can I take a lower paying job with better work-life balance? Can we buy this house? Can I start this business? Can I take a sabbatical? Do I need to keep saving as much as I am? Can I retire now? Having confidence in your spending is integral to answering these questions and more. Specific to those in the accumulation phase, a solid idea of your expenses gives us an idea of the retirement lifestyle that we should plan for and how much is left over each year to allocate towards your savings. And for those nearing retirement, we need to know your living expenses to understand the withdrawals required from your investments and gauge whether that leads to a viable long-term plan. If you already have a budget, an app, or any kind of solid method to estimate your spending, great. I'd keep doing what you're doing, and there's no need to change it. There is no right way to budget. But if you're looking to get started with a budget or are curious about different budget strategies, stay tuned. My name is Bryan Minogue, founder of Cardinal Financial, and in this video, I'm going to walk through how I budget and the framework I use with clients to be confident in our spending and thereby the broader financial plan. At a high level, this budget system breaks your expenses into one of four main categories: fixed expenses, variable needs, flex, and non-monthly. Fixed expenses are exactly the same each month. Common fixed expenses include mortgage or rent, phone and internet bills, monthly subscriptions, or debt payments. Variable needs are basic necessities that are roughly the same each month. Common items in this category include groceries, utilities, gas, and home goods. Flex spending is your discretionary spending, or your wants. This is all your month-to-month optional spending, things like dining out, entertainment, shopping, etc. Non-monthly spending includes the big goals or expenses that may only occur once or a few times each year. Common non-monthly items include travel, home maintenance, out-of-pocket medical costs, auto maintenance, and biannual or annual insurance payments. Some of the things I like most about this system are, first, the fixed and variable needs categories provide a really good estimate of our monthly keep the lights on expenses. Second, we're planning ahead for non-monthly items that are easy to overlook and could otherwise end up being budget busters and highly discouraging. And third, because we've planned for the keep the lights on items and big non-monthly expenses, we can set a truly guilt-free bucket in the form of our flex number. Before I walk through how to set up this system, I'd like to stress that budgeting is a process, not a one-time event. What's most important is to get started. Your first budget will be wrong, but it will improve massively with a little bit of time. The first step in setting up this budget system is to identify your categories. You can download or review your transactions from your credit card and bank statements over the last 1 to 3 months and jot down your household's categories into one of those four main groups. This can be as simple as a sheet of paper with 4 columns to list your categories. The next step is to set budget values for each of your categories. I'd start with the fixed expenses, as these should be the easiest to identify. These are the expenses that are exactly the same each month. For the variable needs category, I would recommend averaging your last 3 months totals. For example, if your grocery bills were $1,300, $1,100, and then $1,200 the last 3 months, you would use $1,200 as your initial budget target. The flex target can be set in a similar way to your variable needs, but instead of budgeting at each individual category level, I recommend totaling everything in this group and setting a group level budget amount. The reason for this is that the composition of this group's spending will change from month to month and is meant to be flexible. In some months, you may spend more on dining out, while in others, you want to spend this guilt-free bucket on shopping or entertainment. So instead of setting a budget for each individual category, take the total group spending in the last 3 months and use that as your initial target. The non-monthly items could be the most tricky, as spending in these categories could look something like this. Some of these items, like biannual insurance payments, can be known with certainty, but for others, you may be guessing or trying to set a reasonable expectation, like for out-of-pocket medical expenses or potential car maintenance. Estimates are fine at this stage, and you can refine these amounts over time as you build better data. And with that, you'll have your budget. Initially, I'd recommend reviewing your budget on at least a monthly basis, but over time, quarterly or even annual reviews may suffice. An app can be an incredibly valuable tool to simplify your budget tracking and also get all partners in your household on the same page. I'd recommend checking out Monarch Money if you don't already have a preferred budgeting app. I've used this app for years and set up this budgeting system in Monarch with my clients. The key benefits I see from using an app like Monarch are you get a shared view of your household's budget to get everyone involved. These apps can be highly customizable to create a budget to fit your household and how you think about your money. You can set up rules for transactions to automatically categorize certain merchants. With these rules, you'll find yourself having to do less and less from a manual categorization perspective over time. And lastly, you can build really good data to be confident in your spending assumptions and empower you to make better financial decisions. So there you have it. That's how I budget and how, if my clients don't already have a budgeting preference, I collaborate to set up a household's budget. Again, there is no right way to budget, but confidence in your household spending is critical to build confidence in a broader financial plan. And although the idea of a budget can conjure visions of austerity and penny pinching, the truth is a solid idea of your spending can empower you to take the leap on some of life's most important financial decisions.